une initiative qui est née donc à C4ICRAF et c'est très important de réaliser donc ce paysage. Et je peux vous dire qu'aujourd'hui, maintenant, nous avons la plus grande plateforme pour ce thème qui est très important. Et nous avons donc à peu près donc 2 milliards de personnes et il y a 10 000 organisations et tous ces réseaux qui sont engagés. Donc, et c'est
and it continuously drives transformative change. We are delighted to welcome you to this two-day conference. I'm so inspired as I look around. There are people from
il y a
all
des
walks of
personnes qui
life,
viennent de partout du monde et de tous les secteurs qui nous joignent. Les jeunes,
policymakers, women-led organizations, members of government, indigenous communities, farmers, activists, artists, authors, chefs, and more. We have invited 200 speakers from around the world and are ready to hear from them and to hear from you. What are your ideas for a new vision for Earth? How do you envision an equitable, healthy, and livable planet? What solutions are you eager to share? It's clear we need transformative change. Earlier this year, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released its latest assessment report. It was hailed as a survival guide for humanity, and it highlighted the devastating impact of weather and climate extremes. Extremes which the world's most affected people and areas faced most accurately, especially in Africa, my home continent. However, I think we can go beyond developing a survival guide. I think and I hope everyone joining us shares this belief that we have existing solutions and the tools to develop new ones that the world truly needs. And I think come together, we can go beyond surviving to thriving. We are living in a digital age characterized by interconnectedness and interdependence. It's time to take the best of this era, employing tools like artificial intelligence and cutting-edge research to address global challenges in an inclusive and responsible way. It's time to ensure that the knowledge and wisdom from around the world are shared with those who need it most. And it is time to harness our collective intelligence for the greater good. We are already equipped with solutions. Our challenge is to better harness them. And so we need a new vision to guide us. Over the next 2 days, this conference will address two key topics. Today, our focus is on Africa and the utilization of sovereign solutions for the continent. The sovereign solutions of local communities play a crucial role in addressing climate change and building resilient food systems. Imagine the impact of these solutions when enhanced with support from our collective and intelligence and interconnectedness. Youth, women, and indigenous peoples are champions of landscape restoration and management, often operating with limited resources and against all odds. What could they achieve with better access to resources to strengthen their stewardship of nature in a changing climate? How could rural communities benefit from improved access and partnership
pour avoir l'accès donc et donc au travail vert et pour restaurer donc le sol. Comment est-ce que nous pouvons donc avoir des solutions basées sur la nature pour améliorer donc les efforts? Comment est-ce que nous pouvons unir donc que ce soit donc une utilisation durable des
for
ressources?
inclusive decision-making that supports locally led climate action, landscape restoration, and food systems?
Hi, Martin.
And tomorrow, we shift our focus to the planet as strategies for stabilizing the climate. We'll think critically about how we can solve this challenge together, and we'll compile the solutions you already have available in the lead up to COP28. I invite you to view this conference as a celebration of what is possible and a celebration of the solutions we already possess. While we face significant challenges, our potential to overcome them is immense. However,
No, it's not there. It will only come at 10:30.
any one organization or individual can achieve alone. It's together with the collective knowledge, expertise, and wisdom of everyone here that we can make a difference. As the CEO of C4ICRAF, I have the privilege of interacting with dedicated scientists daily. I see firsthand the planet-saving work in our state-of-the-art soil lab, geospatial lab, tree ring lab, gene bank, and more, Our work in collaboration with our partners provides tangible solutions to some of the most pressing challenges of our time. So when we think about a new vision and what that could entail, I want you to think about the solutions we already have. And I want you to think about how we can better share them and implement them worldwide. This global event is the ideal forum to discuss solutions ahead of COP28. All key stakeholders are here: scientists, policymakers, indigenous peoples, practitioners, youth, financiers, activists, artists, and more. We need everyone for a new vision for Earth. A vision that takes us beyond surviving, a vision that charts the way forward to thriving. Thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you a wonderful conference. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Eliane, for those incredibly inspiring words. A big round of applause for our director. Yeah, so before we move on, I would like to ask you a question. When you think of the theme of this conference, a new vision for Earth, what comes to your mind? In one word, so we have this QR code that you can scan to join us on Slido. Just one word. What comes to your mind? So I'll give you a few minutes to also think about that. And once you have an idea, you can go ahead and put it in there. This is very important because we shall have a surprise for you tomorrow using what you're putting into this. So make sure you put that word. Yeah, I'll just give you a few minutes for you. Still, you can also go to slido.com. And add the hashtag plenaries. Should work, right? Is it working? It's working? Oh, it's working for some. Okay, we have some words coming up already. Hope, justice, teamwork, sustainability, biodiversity extinction, wow, equity, justice, restoration, home, not business as usual. Wow, this is quite exciting. Thriving, equality, yeah, keep them coming. Solidarity, negotiating, inspirational, livable, resilience, serene, diverse landscapes. Okay, let's just keep them coming in. Yeah, just like I said, using these words, we shall have a surprise for you tomorrow. Make sure that you don't forget that. Okay, do you need some more time for that? I think we're good, right? Right. Okay, so I hope you've all had the chance to submit your answers. If not, I'll ask the technical team to still run the QR code there so that you can be able to add your input. So we will now move on with the opening plenary And to set the scene for our day one, we'll explore the transformative power of African sovereign solutions. Together, let's discover how people across the continent are reinventing agriculture, restoring landscapes, and building resilience to the climate crisis and other challenges. Please also note that during this plenary, we will have an artist who will create a live illustration of the plenary.
Une illustration de cette plénière et vous allez donc suivre cette plénière donc à travers son œil. Donc, vous pouvez voir ça sur l'écran. Alors, sans perdre de temps,
to hand you over to our moderator
vous donner la
for this plenary,
pour cette plénière.
other than Peter Monang. Peter, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Bonjour. Bon dia. Buenos dias. Karibuni. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, everyone. I felt like I should just continue dancing and should just be listening to Eliane as she went on and on. So, but we have very interesting voices this morning. And this morning, as Elvis said, we want to explore with you, looking at how is Africa transforming the food systems, how are we bringing our own innovations, our own solutions to the table, and trying to make sure that we are shaping sustainable agriculture on the continent, we are shaping ecosystem services on the continent, and also trying to build resilience on the continent. And for that session, we really want to look at how are we sharing those ideas. There are really good ideas, as Eliane had said, that we are not starting from nowhere. There are lots of good ideas, and you'll be hearing from some of our panelists this morning, a really, really good panel that will be talking about this with you. A really good panel lined up. I'll call them up pretty soon. But as we start, we'll try and wait on for our panelists online to hang on. I know that we've got quite a number of people online. I don't know, John, how many people do we have online at the moment? No idea, but normally we have 4,000, 6,000 people sometimes. So, okay, hopefully. But I mean, this is just the start, so we're hoping to get moving with that. But I think that one of the things that I like to start off sharing with you, I think, is the fact that we've got tremendous stories around the continent. And I know that with the Great Green Wall, we've got big numbers coming through, 5 million hectares being restored, landscapes that are being developed. We've got at least 80 landscapes under our Nature Africa initiatives that are doing great stuff, you know, restoring landscapes and trying to transform our agricultural systems and resilience on the continent. But all of that wouldn't come from me. I think you want to be hearing that from others as we go. But this morning, we've got a great set of panelists. I'll introduce them quickly before we get on and as we wait on. So this morning, our first talk is going to come from one of our big supporters, Minister Johann Flashbart, who is the esteemed secretary to the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development. Prior to this role, he also served as the state secretary at the Federal Ministry of Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety. He was also State Secretary Flashbart, an accomplished economist and conservationist, played a key pivotal role in establishing and growing Global Landscapes Forum. His visionary leadership and pioneering initiative led to the inception of the GLF Secretariat in Germany. and his steadfast support remains invaluable in our journey. Without State Secretary Flashback, we would not be here today, and we are profoundly grateful for his enduring commitment, support, and vision for the earth. So that's our first speaker for this morning, and we'll get him on in a short while. After that, he's going to be online, and we will get another group of people, really good people, eminent people, as I said to you, that will be coming up soon after that. And there you have Betty Kibara, who's director in the food initiative at the Rockefeller Foundation. Betty has been very instrumental in regenerative agriculture, especially advancing insect-based nutrition development here and across the continent. We've got, thankfully, to Phyllis Janet this morning, who agreed to come through in place of the Minister for Agriculture, His Excellency, this morning to be with us. Phyllis, thank you so very much for agreeing to come. We have Janice Achieng, who's also here this morning. She's the country representative for YPAD, and who's an agripreneur as well, and was selected as one of the rising stars in the GFAR forum. So welcome and great to be here. We have Daniel, also Mwenda, who's also here with us this morning. And he's the executive officer at KENAF, which is the Kenya National Farmers Federation. But all of them will be coming up to you in at different stages. But let's start off with State Secretary, the esteemed Secretary at the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, His Excellency Joachim Flashback. That's going to be online. Please give him a hand. Thank you very much, sir. Please, over to you. We can't hear you. Can we?
Can you hear me now?
Please, yes, please.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Jumbo to Nairobi. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of the GLF again, as I had been many times before. Thank you for your kind invitation to speak at GLF Nairobi 2023 opening ceremony. Colleagues, friends, we are living in times of overlapping multiple crises. After the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, followed by rising food and energy prices, once again, we are facing increased food insecurity in the world. At the same time, climate change, land degradation, and declining biodiversity are taking their toll on our landscapes. Today, about 1 in 10 people globally are estimated to suffer from hunger. That is 122 million people more than prior to the pandemic. According to data from the recent FAO State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, the African continent is the one most affected, with 20% of the population facing hunger. This cannot be, this must not be accepted. There's no doubt our agriculture and food systems are not fit to feed a growing world population in times of parallel reinforcing crisis. Agriculture and food systems must become equitable, low-emitting, and resilient to multiple crises and external shocks. Therefore, we need to adopt a systemic perspective and find integrated solutions. Colleagues, this year's World Overshoot Day was already on the 2nd of August, which means that we consumed all the services, ecosystem services of our planet just shortly after half of the year. By neglecting the planetary boundaries and overusing natural resources, we are undermining our own ability to react to current and future crises. And now it comes at this point to GLF endeavors. Our resilience is directly related to the way we protect and manage our landscapes. Landscapes are providers of vital ecosystem services and the backbone of agriculture. They are the heart of the Rio Convention. It is landscape at the landscape level where manifold synergies can be realized to ensure food security while preserving biodiversity, fighting climate change, and halting and reversing land degradation. And on top of that, you can easily add water storage and sustainable use of water, as well as many other ecosystem services. Germany, and particularly the BMZ as the national focal point, is a strong partner to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD. In 2021 alone, Germany supported the implementation of the convention, the goal of the convention, its work programs, by more than 1.2 billion US dollar in our bilateral cooperation. Restoration projects, colleagues, ranging from soil restoration and rehabilitation over peatland rebedding to restoration of degraded forest landscape, offer remarkable opportunities to create new and green jobs. They are a good example of the synergies that can be achieved between environmental stewardship and economic prosperity. We support also the Africa Forest Landscape Restoration Initiative, Africa 100, with several projects amounting to more than 85 million euros and aim to increase our contribution by 40 million euros. Addressing landscapes means addressing land rights. With our special initiative for the transformation of agriculture and food systems, we are supporting indigenous people and local communities in securing their land rights and their opportunities to use it. As land and forest areas under indigenous management can serve as carbon sinks and reservoir of biodiversity, the international community should recognize these services for a healthier planet. Securing land rights also is a matter of gender equality. As Minister Sven Schulze set out her strategy for a feminist development policy, this gender equality covers the 3 R's: rights, resources, and restorations for all people, for women, for men, for LGBTQI persons, and other marginalized groups. This is why my ministry is working with partners to secure women's land rights, to use this important resource, to better their income, enable them to feed their families, and to improve their representation. I applaud Kenya and President Ruto in person for organizing the Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi at the beginning of September, and the commitment of African states to work towards sustainable agriculture and food security. This African Climate Summit was certainly a landmark event on our way to Dubai and beyond. Colleagues, we do have a wide range of solutions at hand to transform our agriculture and food systems in a way our planet needs them. Making them work is a task for all of us: governments, civil society, private sector, academia, multilateral organizations. Finally, Africa needs African solutions. Therefore, I'm very happy that GLF is gathering such a broad audience to discuss concrete experiences, innovative approaches, and shape a common understanding of the necessary transformations. Finally, dear colleagues from the GLF network, it's always so enjoyable for me to discuss with GLF colleagues and experts. You have the expertise, the skills, you have the vision, you have the enthusiasm I so often experience. You can be very proud on what you are delivering for the world. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, esteemed Secretary Johan Flashbart. Thank you for all the support that you continue to give us, and for reminding us of some systemic things that we need to look at, you know, key things like gender equity, and rights and things like that. That's really extremely important. Thank you. And that really would guide us in how we move forward. Thank you once again. I like to, based on that inspirational, opening keynote, move into our next section of the discussion. I'll call up our panelists, esteemed panelists, to come up. Madam Phyllis, Jane, please, can you come up? Betty, Mwenda, and also Janice, please. Welcome on stage, and thank you for making the time to share with us. People already know who you are. Many of you need no introductions. So we'll start off with, all of you just giving us 1 minute each of just what do you do in this transformative space? Just 1 minute each. Maybe we start with Phyllis from the ministry side, please. Microphone next to you. Can we just make sure that they're on?
Okay, fine. Okay, my name is Phyllis. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. And I would like to say that as a ministry, we are really trying to improve our food systems and make it resilient. I work as in the Department of Research and Innovation. And the main thing is to try to link the end users of the technologies and the producers, because we realized that we have a lot of research products that have been developed, but they are not able to move to the next, to the user or to the other stakeholders. So the ministry has created that department so that we are able to link and provide a liaison between the researchers and the users of the technology, particularly the counties and the other stakeholders.
Asante, thank you. Thanks a lot. Mwenda.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mwenda Ntomailuda. I'm the CEO of the Kenya National Farmers Federation, KENAF. This is the apex umbrella farmers organization in the country with a mandate to represent the interests of farmers. In this space, ours is to ensure that the voice of farmers is well articulated and handled by the duty bearers at the county level, which, because agriculture is devolved, and of course at the national level for policy and research. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mwenda. Please, Janice.
Okay, good morning. My name is Janice Achieng Audi. I'm a teacher by profession, an agripreneur, and the country representative of YPAD Kenya, which is a national chapter of an international organization, international network called that onboards young professionals across the globe to come and sustain our food systems. And so we rally behind this to ensure that young people in our respective countries are really playing a role to help transform our foods and climate justice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Betty.
All right, good. My name is Betty Kibara. I'm a director at the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation is a private foundation with a mission to improve the well-being of humanity. One of the areas we've identified is we are not consuming more nutritious foods, and in fact, some of our foods are actually contributing towards some of the diseases like cancer and diabetes. So what we decided to do, we know, for example, fortified whole grain is good for our planet and for us. So we have been working with schools, institutions in different countries, and working with the private sector to develop products, fortified whole grain products, whether this is rice or maize or wheat, which are actually, it's been proven, fortified whole grain is 5 times more nutritious. And every time we process food, sifted food, and we sift it, to very high levels, we're actually losing 30% of the food from the system. Thank you.
Thanks, Betty. Janice, just 1 minute. What to do? What?
I'm Janice Nguyato. I'm from Amboseli. We are working in White Mountain. We call it in Maasai Oldonyoibor. We are Maasai land regeneration. We are working in villages. We are working in around Mount Kilimanjaro with permaculture to helping the community on food and also restoration of land by using permaculture's way. We're also doing the holistic grazing management to manage our land. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Janet. So now we know exactly what you're doing and what you're doing in that space. We'll go back to Phyllis in terms of what the Ministry of Agriculture is doing in terms of policies, the initiatives that are concretely transforming food systems, looking at how do we innovate in a transformative way going forward. Please.
Well, the ministry is mandated to ensure food security, and with that we must have policies and legal frameworks that are guiding the production of this food. First of all, we have a number of policies to ensure that there are a number of issues that we need to address, like increasing the number of women and youth in the agricultural space by providing resources. In this, we have a program that is called Enable Youth, that is providing capital to the youth to engage in agriculture. We are also encouraging the use of digital solutions so that you don't have to wait for an agricultural officer to come. You can really look for this information if you are not able. We are also encouraging the use of biodiverse food, local foods, and this we have a policy framework, a legal notice to require all the millers to blend their products, flour products, with the local, let me call them the forgotten foods, the traditional foods like the millets, the cassavas. We have that legal in framework to ensure the communities or the household are using more biodiverse food and that are local, and to ensure that they are getting healthy foods. And we also in the space of improving production and encouraging all sorts of appropriate technologies. We are thinking for the large farms, mechanization can become handy, and also for the small farm, we can have small appropriate mechanization tools so that we produce more with ease. We want to make agriculture cool to everybody. We know, all of us here, that particularly, I don't know whether it's all Africa, but particularly in Kenya, agriculture is for the uneducated, agriculture is for the, I don't know, for the old. We want to change that narrative as a ministry, and we have a lot of initiative on that, and that's why we have that program of the youth to ensure our farmers are 60 plus years. So we are growing our own farmers by introducing the youth to come in the production space. Yeah. The ministry has also gone another step by ensuring that you only don't learn when you are big, but you learn from school going when you are a child, and that's how we have our branded 4K clubs. They are all over Kenya. We have schools. We're even encouraging people to adapt schools so that they can give them resources to continue producing, so that we can have our food resilience in place. And also we also putting in place the things that we know our problems. Water is a problem in the light of climate crisis. So we also encouraging a lot of irrigation to happen.
Great, Phyllis. Just in 30 seconds, any policies that you're enacting in the process to push all of these great solutions?
Where we have the agriculture policy in place. We are working on the research systems. We have reviewed it so that to move with times. We also having the agriculture extension guidelines and policy so that we can guide the stakeholders. The extension service need not be a function of government. We are all involved. We are part of the food systems, and we need to participate. And that guideline is to give ways on how every stakeholder interested in that space will work.
Asante sana. Thanks a lot. Really good points. Let's go to Betty. You just heard some of the other things that the ministry is doing. What are some of those examples of innovations, approaches that can be showcased in African food systems and that can help us to sort of transform?
Yeah, so we know very well, of course, there is mention about fertilizer and all that and the inputs, but we know that our soils are degraded, they are acidic, and they don't have sufficient organic matter, so that when we even apply fertilizer, it doesn't matter how much you apply, it's not responsive. And the reason, one of the reasons is the high pH and of course low organic matter. And we know there are many other products which are available here in the continent. We have, whether it's vermicomposting or it's manure or it's biochar or, different products. But for this session, for the few 2 minutes I have, I want to talk about the insects, the first fertilizer that comes from insects. We have an insect which is called the black soldier fly. It doesn't have a mouth, so it doesn't eat. It actually just drinks water, so it's not harmful to the environment. And about 4 years ago, we started working with the CIPE, the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, to do one simple thing: take what my friend has talked about, their technologies from the lab to the land. And for the last 4 years, we have supported establishment of more than 64 SMEs that are already doing production of larvae. And we know BSF actually feeds on organic waste. And this continent is not short of waste. We generate about 125 million metric tons of waste from Africa. And we have also worked on standards for frass and for the larvae, which is used for the insect-based feed for different countries. And we're now working with ARSO to harmonize the standards. But I think what I wanted to say, why is frass important? We have done a lot of testing, and it's not just, my messaging here is that it's not just about how we are using fertilizer, but it's how we are blending organic fertilizer with inorganic fertilizer. Once you do that combination, we have seen yield increase by about 8 times in unamended soils. Frass is also good, 25 times more carbon in the soil once you use it. So in a nutshell, there are many things that needs to happen. Investments need to increase. Out in the African continent, we only get 1% of investment from the investors. And then we need to improve our soil testing. Many times you, as a farmer, every time you're planting, you're just adding fertilizer, but we don't know what is in our soils. But also when government are giving subsidies, can we also consider not just fertilizer alone, but also in organic fertilizer that can also be helpful to the soils? Yes.
Thanks a lot, Betty. I mean, really good points. I can't overemphasize the need for investment in these sorts of things that you're talking about and scaling up. I think it's important to note that, in the $30 billion that comes into Africa on investments for climate change every year, only 16% gets into land. When in fact, land is 80% of our economies, 80% of our livelihoods, and that's a huge one. And I think that these kinds of initiatives on land is really, really important. Thank you very much. Thanks, Betty. Let's go to Janice. Janice, how can local ownership and control be promoted in African food systems and landscape restoration? Janice, please. No, Janice will come to you later on. Yeah, let's go with her. Just talk a little bit about what are the innovations you think need to happen.
Okay. In our line of innovation, we leverage on knowledge sharing. And for this to be possible, it means that we need to have room to onboard policymakers, to onboard researchers, to onboard scientists, to onboard farmers and relevant stakeholders, to onboard the whole community in the field of food systems and, our local transformation, so that, when they come together, they're able to share their expertise, they're able to share their experiences and best practices. And therefore, as stakeholders, they are able to build innovative and, context-specific solutions to challenges that we experience in our food systems and, landscape restorations. And therefore, at YPAD, what we do is we leverage on this. We onboard young professionals with diverse agriculture background. And therefore, when they come together, we are able to learn from one another, over 30,000 plus across the globe. That's so amazing. And so we promote, because what you do majorly is promoting agriculture, food system, and climate justice. So we use these platforms to share knowledge and promote agriculture to the youth and also advertise opportunities for them. We network with leading agricultural institutions. We also have an opportunity formation in agriculture system so that we can do publications, public speakings, and form policy working groups to try and challenge and also to contribute towards sustainable policies that is giving us a conducive environment to apply our innovation in this transformation. Again, what we do is we share success stories of innovative young people. And these are very simple local solutions that we relate with every single day in our communities. So we provide a platform to showcase that. And this really encourages and changes the mindset of the young people out there. In Africa, and especially in my country today, the average farmer is 60 years old. And yet our nation is fairly youthful. That begs the question, who is going to feed us really? And therefore we need to shift this mindset of going to the cities to get, white collar jobs and, expose and show that there's a very big space in agriculture. I don't have to carry a djembe to go to the farm to contribute towards sustaining our food system. Again, when we come together and partner together, co-organize workshops, summits. Many years ago, we were talking about agriculture, talking about food and nutrition security. And today we are talking about food systems that requires, a complete rethink. And therefore, when these emerging new vocabularies come about, how do we gain the confidence to even contribute and talk about them? Only through attending and, co-organizing for forums, workshops. Like the last 2 days, we were attending leadership landscape workshop. And we know about terms like biodiversity, inclusivity. This really gives us as young people the energy and the confidence to try and contribute wholesomely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Janice. I think that really key, that knowledge sharing with the majority of our population really needs to change. Otherwise, we won't have any food and the landscapes won't be viable anymore in the near future. Thanks a lot. Really good points. Mwenda, how are we going to make sure local ownership can actually change things? The farmers themselves.
Thank you. So like I said, KENAF is the apex umbrella farmers organization in the country. Our core mandate is lobby and advocacy with the government and other stakeholders. We do have a membership of 807,000 farmers across all the 47 counties. This is directly. And indirectly, we do have 1.6 million members across the country. Now, First of all, what we'll be doing at KENAF is to ensure that farmers understand, internalize what transforming food systems means, because unless they understand that, they will not know what their role is. So that for us is very important, that farmers understand. We also are of the position that in this whole discussion, farmers are the most important, and I do believe that we can all agree that we cannot talk about transforming food systems in a country like Kenya or in most of Africa without really putting farmers in the center of it. Now, with those two things, we go to the agency. How do we enhance the farmers' autonomy to make determinations that affect their lives, affect their livelihoods, affect their incomes? And we do this by ensuring that the farmers' voice is heard at all levels. And of course, I thank the GLF, the organizers, for ensuring that the voice of farmers is brought to this level, because most of the time you find that farmers are just at the table, they are just an afterthought in a lot of discussions. I am sorry to say, of course, my friend here from the ministry, we were talking as we were coming here, and I was asking my friend here, Mr. Tu over there, really, why isn't the voice of farmers being heard at the ministry as far as this transformation of food system is concerned? Now, what we are doing is to ensure that when this is being discussed at whatever level, farmers are there, not just there, but whatever they are bringing to the table, whatever their interests, their opinions, they are being listened to, and they are being crafted into the pathway that the country is talking about, into the pathways that will help Kenya transform our food systems. So agency is very important. Number two, we are also talking about how do we ensure that farmers understand it's about personal responsibility. A lot of times when you talk about climate change or the climate is changing, this and that is happening, the temperatures are rising, we forget that the earth will take care of itself. We should be interested as human beings because it is we who are going to be wiped off the surface of the earth. The earth has always been there, it's always been going around the sun. It will be doing that 1 billion years after we are gone. It will continue doing that, I believe, until the sun collapses or something. Okay. So we need to make sure that farmers understand that it is in their self-interest to do what is right as far as the landscape is concerned. We had the director here talking about the landscape. We want farmers to understand that it is in their self-interest. It is for their personal interest that they protect the landscape, which is the most important factor of production. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I mean, real agency, really important. Thank you. We just to wrap up, Janice will come to you later. You get really good 5 minutes to talk a little bit about your stuff. But let's just go back, just thinking about all of what has been said. Just 30 seconds each. One last key message on what you really think is important. Just 30 seconds from each one of you. Maybe Phyllis?
I think what is important is that we need to work together, all of us. Food system is not for one person or one organization. We all need to join hands and work together, pull your side as much as possible, improve all sides. Because we know food system is not about food security only. It's about plants, animals, human health, and environment. So we all need to work together to ensure that we have resilient and sustainable food system. Really good point. Mwenda, please. 30 seconds, please.
I'll just agree with my sister here. We should leave no one behind. Everyone really needs to be at the table, and everyone's voice needs to be listened to if we really are going to transform our food system.
And especially farmers, right? Thanks a lot. Janice, please.
I'll reiterate an African proverb that says, you cannot work for food when there is no food for work. And really, where is food? It is around us. So we have a responsibility to talk about this and, pull together and transform our food systems. And talking about sustaining the food systems should not be an aspiration. It should be a necessity where the energy and innovation of the young people really play a crucial role. Thank you.
Couldn't be better said. Thank you. Great. Betty.
Right. We need a soil revolution. that blends organic and inorganic fertilizers.
Really, really good point. The soil revolution. Organic and inorganic fertilizers together. Thank you so very much. A big hand to our panel, please, for... I know that some of you are burning to engage, but please, there are several opportunities to engage them outside this, and you can go online also on the boards and things like that. So let's get now to Janice Nkoyato Mutui, really important White Mountain. She's going to talk to you about the restoration story that is community-based, action-oriented. I don't want to take time because my voice is probably not as good as yours. Janice, please.
Enter Suva Borgin. Enter Suva. I'm Janice Nguyato. I'm a Maasai woman. I'm proudly mother of one 6-year-old daughter, Blessing. I'm from Kenya, Amboseli. Our land is located around Mount Kilimanjaro, which we Maasai call it Oldonyo Ibor. A White Mountain, the iconic
Une montagne blanche. Alors, donc, c'est une tour de...
sacred to us. In 2017, the drought really hit our land and our cows were dying in a great number. I contact Embassy of the Earth through Facebook Messenger to come and help us. In the beginning, the White Mountain Maasai movement, community-led.
De Maasai, que ce soit donc le mouvement communautaire et toutes ces histoires, donc avec la collaboration. Je vais vous raconter une histoire.
We Maasai, indigenous people, live in patriotism in both Kenya and Tanzania. We are great in number, around 1.2 million in Kenya, and estimated 1 million in Tanzania. In our traditional territories, savanna landscape stretches from the Rift Valley lakes of Kenya across the Serengeti Plains into Tanzania. For 100 years, we live in harmony with our land, but now our Maasai culture, landscape, and ecosystem around Mount Kilimanjaro are suffering from long and more frequent drought, floods, and loss of vegetation cover caused by clearing, cutting of trees, and bad land management and heating of our planet. Now, 6 years later, land division, COVID, and the worst drought ever. I can proudly say White Mountain movement stands strong, ever strong. The White Mountain movement has expanded to many Maasai community around all parts of Kenya and across the border. It is now one mountain, two nations, Kenya and Tanzania. During our White Mountain journey, we came together with a very diverse group of people in a large gathering named the Future Search Base Camp, the first in Kenya, May 2019, and the last one in Tanzania, April 2023. In this base camp, we can fully understand our situation and our suffering earth. We then created a vision for the future, a fertile culture, a regenerated landscape, health, and education are key parts. It stretches and action planning to follow. Restoring the ecosystem of Mount Kilimanjaro was always our focus from the beginning. Our origin, Maasai teaching and values are very clear about caring our land. These teachings are now helping us to restore our landscape and livelihood. In the Global Landscape Reform in 2018, we made our vow to restore the ice cap of Mount Kilimanjaro, our holy mountain. The White Mountain community in Kenya and Tanzania organized themselves in task force, which are putting the action plans on the ground, adapt the specific need of each region, and all is overseen by the coordinating council to make sure we still connected and move forward together. At a village level, we work in a CBO. We practice holistic grazing management. We have set many community food gardening based on permaculture, nurturing seedlings and planting trees, educating our children on the environment, and breeding with the aim to few and more resilient cows to protect our land. Our ambition is to involve many communities, but we cannot do this alone. We have come to the Global Landscape Forum in Nairobi to share our vision, to seek partners to support us in our work. We're aiming to build and maintain more large tree nursery, planting millions of trees, grow more healthy foods, and reach out to engage and train more and more of our Maasai community. Thank you for your time.
What a wonderful story. You could see for yourselves. No need to make any comment. Really lovely. Thank you. Thanks so much, Janice. Thanks for taking the time, and also a big congratulations to the entire White Mountain community, please. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Once again, a big hand, please. As we started with the keynote from our esteemed Secretary, Johan Flashbart, we're going to go to the next part, closing up with a closing keynote from Mr. Ibrahim Thiaw, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, the UNCCD. No need to introduce this man. We all know him from, like, I don't know, maybe 40 years ago when he was working in the Ministry of Agriculture in Niger. When he came to UNEP, he's been really like a giant in the whole environment and also landscape sector. Without much ado, we'd like to play for you a pre-recorded closing keynote from Ibrahim Thiaw.
Dear friends, as we come together in Nairobi and virtually from around the world, we have a clear Dear friends, as we come together in Nairobi and virtually from around the world, of a mighty baobab tree, rooted deeply, it stands resilient against the storms, providing shelter and sustenance to many. But just like the baobab, our earth needs a nurturing environment, and we must take on the role of a custodian to protect this great tree. We have a clear and distinct purpose. The Global Landscape Forum provides a platform out for change. Up to 40% of the world's land is degraded, directly affecting half of the world's population. By degrading land, we degrade our ability to produce sufficient and nutritious food, quality water, and quality air. The frequency and intensity of droughts have been on the rise, causing immeasurable suffering and costly. Africa, for example, has suffered 44% of the world's major droughts over the last 100 years. In the last 50 years, the continent has suffered economic damage more than $70 billion, not to mention immense human hardship. These figures remind us of the urgency of our mission. The new vision for the Earth should not only focus on restoring what has been lost, but also on preserving what exists and on innovating for what can be gained, where every hectare of land, no matter how degraded, is seen as an asset waiting to be restored, where local communities are not just beneficiaries, but drivers of change. Young minds, not just future leaders, but active pioneers in shaping and reshaping our world. Africa, which is very rich in ecosystems, traditions, and knowledge, holds a key. The continent has long practiced sustainable agriculture from the terraced fields of Rwanda to the agroforestry traditions of West Africa. It's time to amplify these African-led solutions, scaling them up and out. Dear friends, imagine an Africa where beautiful green landscapes stretch as far as the eye can see, where rivers flow with vitality, and where every plate of food tells the story of soil's abundance. This is not just a dream, but a vision that we can and must make a reality. The baobab tree, under those shade we have been seeking shelter for millennia, is calling out to us. So let's get together, roll out our sleeves, and give back to the earth what it has given us. Thank you.
Who else to say it better and in that way? Thank you. Thanks. We've seen the beautiful pictures, but nothing expresses these things better than art. And that's what we're going to see next. To close out this plenary, we're going to call on Nabalayo to come up stage and to make a musical performance for us all to close and to express this vision in art, in an artistic form. For those of us that can digest the art much better, I think it wouldn't be anything better than that. Please, Nabalai. Sorry? Yeah, I think. So maybe we can we give a big hand to our panel once again, please? Thank you.
Mic check. Hello, everyone. You know, somehow when everyone is silent and listening is when now it's more nerve-wracking than when everyone is rowdy and just having a party. So my name is Nabalayo. I am a music maker, I'm an illustrator, I'm also an educator, and I like to call myself a culture worker as well. And I'm really happy to be here. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm also very happy to see that such an event like this is happening and artists are involved. I would say that there's a saying that says, msanii ni kioo ya jamii. That means the artist is the mirror of the society. And I think it's really important to keep this in mind when you're having important conversations like this. Because at the end of the day, the people out in the street are not gonna read science journals and articles and stuff. They're gonna listen to music, they're gonna watch films, they're gonna listen to poetry. And so I feel like everyone in this room should think of harnessing art in one way or the other with the projects that they have going on. So in front of you is an instrument from the Abagusi community. It's called the Obokano. It's an 8-stringed lyre. And it's made from wood from the Omotembe tree. And your homework is to find out the scientific name of that tree, because it grows all over Kenya. You'll find it in like all the different rural areas. I have a story for you that I'm going to tell in song form. And in the third section of the story, I think I'm going to want participation. Yes. So, so this story is about a person who his cows are in a hostage situation with his dad. I think they maybe ate stuff from his farm, and now he is begging his dad to let his cows go. So this is a song about that. Chachire baba, chachire baba, chachire chombe chomogesi, chachire chombe chomogesi, mbengi twaigure mbengi morogoba. Kuramano baba, kuramano baba, kuramano chombe chomogesi. Kuramano chombe chomogesi, mbengi twaigure mbengi morogoba. Chairani re baba, chairani re baba, chairani re chombe chomogesi, chairani re chombe chomogesi, mbengi twaigure mbengi morogoba. And so when he realizes his cows are not going to be let go, he gets really upset. And he decides to take a walk, as one normally does when they're upset. And that walk turns into a hike up a hill. And this hill is really, really high. And he's just going to try and climb it just to blow off steam. So this is the story of what he finds when he gets to the hill. Abaga bakare gobare gobera, abaga bakare gobare gobera, egeserate nabamura babo, egeserate nabamura babo. Bagina bakare gobare gotenga, bagina bakare gobare gotenga. Chingabo chabo nabamura babo. Abaga bakare gobare gobera, abaga bakare gobare gobera. Egeserate nabamura babo, egeserate nabamura babo. He found that the hill was so high that no one in the community could climb it. But he still had to try. because he was just so upset. And then when he managed to go up the hill a little bit, he just came down because he was really tired. And he was very sore from the hike. And he was complaining about how tough it was on him. And he wanted to complain through a dance. And so, I know we have head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but in this song we have head, we have waist, and we have knees, right? So, I don't know if I'll ask you to stand up. Do you feel like standing up? You feel like standing up? Nice. What a great crowd. So I'm going to show you the dance. It's really simple. So I'm going to show you the dance, and then I'll now sit down and play, and then you'll dance for me, okay? Okay. So the first part is head, and we're gonna go like this: side, 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 side. And the second part is waist, and we're gonna move side, 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 side. And then the third one is the knees. So you don't have to bend all the way down if you don't want to. You can just go like this, and then side, side, side. So the song is the guy complaining that his head is aching, his waist is aching, and his knees are aching, okay? So it goes like this. You don't have to sing, just do the dance. So it goes like this. Gotirambata omotwe kae baba. Gotirambata omotwe. Gotirambata omotwe kae baba. So I was told Omotwe is head in Abagusi. I'm not an Abagusi, I'm a Luya, but I just love the music. And then on the waist, Gotirambata nyigo kae baba. Gotirambata nyigo. Gotirambata nyigo kae baba. And then the knees. Gotirambata maru kae baba. Gotirambata maru. Gotirambata maru kae baba. Okay, that is the dance. I hope you'll remember. Mic check. Oops. Go. Okay. So starting with the head. Gotirambata matwe ngae baba. Gotirambata matwe. Gotirambata matwe ngae baba. You have a headache, but you're smiling and dancing. Gotirambata matwe ngae baba. Gotirambata matwe. Gotirambata matwe ngae baba. And now we go to the waist. Gotirambate nyigo ngae baba. Gotirambate nyigo. Gotirambate nyigo ngae baba. Gotirambate nyigo ngae baba. Gotirambate nyigo. Gotirambate nyigo ngae baba. Awesome. And now we go to the knees. Gotirambata maru ngae baba. Gotirambata maru. Gotirambata maru ngae baba. Gotirambata maru ngae baba. Gotirambata maru. Gotirambata maru ngae baba. Thank you very much. And that is the end of the story. And the guy never got his cows. He's just sad and dancing.